Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Understanding the World with Lea Iman. This episode we will talk mostly of climate change and global security as well. What are the priorities that humanity should be focused on instead of being focused on all these priorities that are no longer serving us, such as climate change, kind of mitigation that doesn't really work, such as carbon credits and all kinds of frauds that are not really in our benefit, as well as engaging in wars that we can no longer afford. We should be mostly focused on fixing our problems and making sure that humanity can thrive and can continue to exist in the next years, instead of putting so much money into useless wars that are no longer serving us. So how do we tackle this crisis, and how do we make sure that we will be able to survive? Because the last IPCC report states that we only have 3 years before reaching the point of no return, meaning that in 3 years you should expect to see all kinds of climate disasters, droughts, and so on. And I'm not just speaking of droughts, I'm also speaking about food security here. I'm speaking about hurricanes that will destroy crops. I'm speaking about winds that will be extremely strong. I'm speaking about rains that won't stop. I'm speaking about tsunamis, giant tsunamis that will hit the shores, rising sea levels, the displacement of populations by the millions, and huge food crisis, because we rely greatly on outdoor crops and outdoor agriculture. So if the climate is no longer stable, it will be directly connected to the agriculture and food security. So we have to get ready as soon as possible, and this is no longer a choice. It's not optional anymore. We have to gather forces, and I know people that have dropped their jobs and dropped their industries to come into helping with climate change. Because if we look at the time that we have left and where we are and how far we are not going to make it. So we need as much help as we can get, as much help as possible. We need people to understand that this is no longer an option, that we are in an emergency. This is a planetary emergency, guys. I don't say this to alarm you. I'm saying this because it is the truth. It is what is happening right now. And we have to gather forces. We have to be as many as possible, not screaming and telling governments to give us our rights or to, no, this is not the right way. This is not going to change anything. We have to take action, and in order to take action, you can basically start researching, what are the possible solutions? How can I help? What can I do? Some of you who know me outside of the podcast and know me outside of my journalist work know that I work in clean technologies, and we have founded this company and gathered the latest, most futuristic clean technologies in the world, which is around 1,300 clean technologies. So the idea here is, because that's what we found, that was the most practical and most viable solution and fastest solution that could actually stop climate change. Because if we could change the biggest and most polluting actors, the biggest and most polluting companies in the world, then we can tackle the problem and cut by 80% the climate issues that we have right now and pollution. So we need everybody on board. We need governments to move. We need cities to move. We need all professionals, all engineers, all inventors to team up, everybody to work together to make the transition happen. This is no longer a joke. Really, I don't know how people can still think that we are alarmists and that none of this is true. These are scientists. The people who did this report are scientists, neutral scientists that come from all over the world. They come from all over industry, all kinds of industries, and come together. They are non-political, and they came together to bring you the truth about what is actually happening. And what is actually happening is that we are going to disappear in the next 10 years. Now, it's not before they used to say, so last year they said we have 8 years to go before the point of no return. But we also know that it's exponential. So they said this because it was last year. But it's growing exponentially fast. And this is with rockets going to space. This is why I don't agree with these billionaires going to space and digging holes into our ozone layer and then coming back to Earth and saying that they are trying to save humanity. I don't think so. I think that's a lie. I think that's a hypocrite lie that should be exposed, and time of fooling humanity is over. We must stop lying to humanity, I mean, you guys are being lied to, and you are falling for the lies, and you're worshiping and giving your money to people that are not for your highest good. They're trolling you, literally. I don't like to use these terms when I'm making an analysis or something like this, but this is actually the truth. These are like clowns that are playing with your money, they're playing with your soul, they're playing with your future. They don't have humanity's highest interest at heart. This is only an experiment for them. An experiment to prove that you are not worthy of being on this planet. So wake up. It's no more, we don't have time to play anymore. The game is really serious. It's about your soul, it's about your survival, and the very survival of your species. So I hope that you can be responsible. Every human being. I'm addressing every human being in this video. I'm not trying to guilt trip you or anything, but seriously, I need everybody to listen. Because this is not about me or you or him or money or power or anything, or making our bank accounts bigger, or who's got the biggest muscles here. That's not the question. The question is, are we going to survive? All of us together. It seems that the attention is on all the wrong things, on wars, on hate, on more and more problems that these guys are creating. These guys are not your friends, they are your enemies. Because anybody that is creating more and more issues instead of fixing the current issues is an enemy of humanity, an enemy of the future. So first, you must determine who are your friends and who are your enemies. As long as you follow Elon Musk and all these guys, you are completely lost. Because those guys are not doing anything tangible and real to actually fix climate change. It's not 5 EV cars driving around Palo Alto and San Francisco and California that are going to fix climate change. It's not digging holes into our ozone layer and sending spacecrafts into space and making humanity pay so that you can make money mining. That's not the way it goes. And that's not saving humanity. It's not cutting an ancient forest to build your gigafactory that's going to change the things. Stop lying to people. Stop fooling people. Stop being a hypocrite. Because you're using climate change as a way to make money. You're using climate change as a way to fool people, as a way to make billions, and then what? What do you really do for humanity? Nothing. You troll them, right? This is for the billionaires, right, that are going to space, and you know who I'm talking about. Now I'm talking about there are other people that are more silent in the game, and nobody's actually talking to them. Now some people are trying, some activists, but here, I'm gonna start calling names. I think I'm gonna make a list and I'm gonna start calling names of people that are at the head of corporations and that are still polluting and killing our planet, and that still buy carbon credits and lie to the whole planet and say, oh, we are sustainable. Cut the bullshit. We're no longer gonna buy it. You're sustainable, right? And the UN is in the game as well. And the WEF and all these hypocrite organizations, the World Bank, funding more fossil fuels than renewable energy, and saying that they are engaged in climate change efforts. Really? I didn't know that. So here, I know it's a very dry message, but it has to go to where it has to go. We've got the technologies. Let the technologies get to the right people. Google, stop putting unsafe on top of every freaking technology website that's not your technology. Okay, that's because that's a pattern. All our inventors have been reporting the same thing. All the inventors who are not working with the West are reporting the same freaking thing, which is that they report their websites as unsafe. You can't even find them online. You have to dig on Google like to the 90th page, right? What's going on, guys? Why? Why are you trying to hide the technology from the world? Why are you trying to kill this planet? Isn't it enough? Don't you think your survival is worth it? Or do you have another plan? Maybe they have another planet they can go to. Maybe that's why they're not doing the work. But we're here and we're determined to do the work. And we've got the technology and we are going to take it to where it has to go. And those who will not want to change will be called out, and names will be called out, and they will be in the press as well. So get ready. I hope you are. Thank you.